Hey guys, so in this video we're going to talk about how to breathe while running. Now this is one of the most frequented questions that I often get in comments or over email. Lots of people really want to know what is the best way to breathe whilst running, and it's definitely a worthwhile question. Oxygen is our fuel. As a human, we need to inhale lots of oxygen, give ourselves that energy, allow our muscles, our body to respond to the exercise that we're doing, and at the same time it's all about exhaling as well, so getting rid of all those waste gases, carbon dioxide, and really maximizing this is a really good way to obviously develop your running and to make sure that you are doing yourself justice. And this is something that we're really going to talk about today. I'm going to give you some pointers, some ideas, and maybe some thoughts that you've just never thought about with your breathing. I know that you all know how to breathe, you're breathing right now, but we're going to talk about how you can breathe best for your running. So the first point we're going to talk about and address is, should we be breathing through our nose or should we be breathing through our mouth? Now really what you want to think about is what is the best way to breathe to get the most oxygen into your body, to keep the body in a good state, a good level of homeostasis, a good balance through the exercise to allow you to run longer and further and faster. And really the answer comes down to breathing in through your mouth. You need to be able to breathe in as much oxygen as you can. Now I'm sure you've felt this sensation perhaps if you went for a run, and maybe this is something you could try out and test yourself. If you go for a run and try only to breathe through your nose, I'm sure you're going to have a sensation perhaps that you're not quite getting enough oxygen in, or you're going to have to really slow down your running pace and relax yourself, because you're not going to be able to carry through that speed, that pace, especially in a hard effort that you'd like to if you're breathing only through your nose. Now there are some runners like Scott Jurek and others who really kind of talk about this a lot in their training, say that they really believe that running with, running slowly, breathing in through your nose, out through your nose is a really good way to develop your training and to really get mindful when it comes to your breathing. And this is true, and this can be a really good way to slow down your runs, slow down your easier runs, to really become mindful about your body and give yourself time if you're really trying to develop maximum kind of aerobic efficiency there by running nice and slow with a low heart rate. But obviously as you increase the pace, you're going to have to find more oxygen there somewhere, and that's going to only come by opening your mouth and breathing in through your mouth. And even if you can as well, breathing in through your mouth and your nose at the same time. I know that when I'm running, this is what I'm doing. So maybe to some of you this might not feel natural, might feel strange to start with, but this is really what you want to be focusing on and working on whilst you're running, is getting the most oxygen in that you can. And that's really going to come from using your nose and your mouth at the same time, or at least just your mouth. If you're using only your nose, you're limiting the amount of oxygen, the amount of air that you can get into your body. Now when the air's getting into your lungs now, you're trying to fill your lungs as much as possible, really trying to use the whole cavity within your lung and getting all that air into your body. And the most effective way you need to think about this is breathing in directly down and low into your belly, below your diaphragm. You really want to fill your lungs with as much air as you can possibly. Now what a lot of runners do, especially newer runners as well, a lot of kind of shallow breathing. Some runners will even be running along. There's lots of runners, new runners that I've coached, and they won't be breathing much at all, or even thinking about their breathing whatsoever. People get very kind of nervous when they're running, when they're trying to do some new exercise. They'll be running very hard but not getting enough air in, and that can come down to a lot of shallow nervous breaths into your lungs, and just breathing into that chest cavity isn't enough. You need to think about filling your lungs and breathing all the way down into the belly to make sure that you're really maximizing that use, that volume that you have inside your lungs, increasing your VO2 max even by getting more oxygen in with each breath and expelling that breath as well, really focusing on getting that carbon dioxide, those waste products out of your body with each breath as well, because you really want to be maximizing the amount of oxygen that you can uptake on that next breath following. So if this idea of belly breathing and filling your lungs is a new concept to you, maybe it's something you've never thought about or worked on before, it's something that you can definitely practice and work on. A good way to start this is really figure out how are you breathing right now at the moment, what feels natural to you. So I would recommend to any runner, to anyone who's thinking about improving their breathing and being better and more efficient at this, is to lie on the floor and place one of your hands on your belly and one of your hands on your chest. And then when you breathe in, really look down at your chest, look down at your belly, and look at what's happening with your hands. Which one is rising? Is it your belly that's rising, or is it that your chest is rising? Now because you're consciously thinking about this now and I've put these ideas into your head, hopefully we'll see that your belly is rising and you're breathing deep and full into your lungs and getting in all that oxygen that you want to. Now this is something that you can certainly practice and something that you can do to really make this breathing sensation feel a little bit more natural. You need to be making sure that your upper body has lots of ability to really breathe down deep into the belly there, to get in the oxygen and to expel it as well at the same time. So this obviously links into thinking about your posture. When you're running, are you crouched over? Are you too far back? Are you doing a lot of swinging around with your abdomen as well? You want to think about keeping a nice tall and straight posture, making sure your back is nice and engaged, making sure that you're not cramping over or leaning over. Now this is something that happens to a lot of runners towards the end of a race, and I'm sure this was probably going to be one limiting factor in people really achieving their PR or really getting those faster times or increasing that pace towards the end of a race. By crouching over, by ruining your form almost, by leaning into your stride a bit too much, you're limiting your lung capacity. By limiting your lung capacity, you're obviously not getting in the amount of oxygen that you need. So the last point I want to make and talk about is breathing rhythm. You need to keep a constant rhythm, a constant beat almost, to allow those breaths to come in, to get the maximum amount of oxygen as you can over the course of your run, to allow you to be most efficient there. So there's a lot of different ideas and theories regarding rhythm. So I'm going to make breathing rhythm its own video now, so check it out guys, the link will be on this video. As I said, breathing rhythm is just as important, and it's something that you can alter and you can change to find a way that works for you and can be used for different running scenarios. You might want to change your rhythm from a nice and easy run to a harder and intense interval session, or a tempo effort, or even a race effort. You want to breathe with a different rhythm there. So we're going to talk about that in this next video. As I said, there are different ideas, different theories to go along with this, so make sure you look out for that video and check it out when it goes up. But if you like this video guys, give it a thumbs up, it really helps. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks for watching guys, and happy running.